Yo. What is up, everybody? It is your boy, GeenieYus Musiq. Welcome to the MSM podcast. Ooh. Oh, man. It's time for the confession. I'm so sorry, man. Even as I'm about to say these words, like, they really irk me. So please understand how hard it is for me to say this. But I am so sorry about Friday, man. I know I made its declaration or an action plan or whatever you want to call it that I'm gonna make commitment rather, right? I feel like that's what it was. I made a commitment to say that I'd do like 2 episodes a week, Monday and Friday, and I just didn't do the episode on Friday, man. And what's crazy is I actually recorded the audio because what happened is Friday, right, it became like such a busy day. So after work, I had to sleep over at a buddy of mine because the Saturday morning I needed to be closer to an appointment that I had on Saturday, you know. So his place is quite close to where my appointment was. So it was a convenience thing. I was like, let me sleep over at his place. So what I did was recorded the episode Thursday evening. And then I was like, you know what? Let me just save it. And then I'll edit it the Friday and then I'll upload it, you know, like the morning thereof. But then you know how mornings are, man. Like the morning just became so crazy. I woke up a bit later than I was supposed to. So then I just had to prepare for work. And then so I just put the audio on my memory stick. And then, you know, the day happened. And then, oh my goodness, the day just happened. Then Saturday happened. Then Sunday happened. And all of this to say that, you know, the episode is still very raw. And I was just like, you know what, just to make up for this blunder of mine, I'm gonna like try to release that this week. I'm actually gonna like work on it tonight, I'm actually gonna work on it tonight, maybe release it tomorrow, Wednesday. Man, just really do apologize that I didn't live up to my word. I try to make myself a man of my word. That's like a journey that I'm going on. Like, it hasn't always been the case, if I'm being completely honest, you know. I really am trying to be just like a man of my word. I feel like that's essential. Any person should be a person of their word, you know. I just feel like it's really essential as a man to uphold that, or to uphold yourself to certain standards, you know. So once again, do apologize. But anyway, we do keep it moving. It is a Monday evening, and you know what that means. It is time for the MSM podcast to present to you the Ball Roundup. Yeah. Yeah, man, as you know, man, the Ball Roundup is our section where we talk everything in the world of sports. And today, man, I wanted to talk about like something. I know like last week we covered football and whatever. And I feel like we might get into that. I don't know. But I really wanted to talk basketball right now, man. I'm a big Lakers fan. Like, let me give you like a little bit of my history with basketball. My sister used to play basketball like when I was way young. I'm talking about 8-9 years old. So, you know, you must know this is a good decade plus years ago, you know. So anyway, my sister played basketball, so you know, she was the one who was into it, me not so much. But then as of late, man, my homie and I, we were starting to play like NBA 2K, and I must say I was never really like a fan of the 2K games purely because I didn't get basketball. I just didn't get how it worked, you know. So a homie of mine who was an avid basketball supporter, he got me into it, you know. So I just started watching 1 game, 2 games, 3 games, 4 games, and before you knew it, I was like, you know, I was just hooked, bruh, you know. And you know, throughout like my watching of the game, and throughout like now doing research about basketball, because I'm just that way. If I get into something, like, I get all the way into it. So, and that's what happened with basketball, you know. So, and at the time, you know, I had a lot of free time because of COVID and all that there, you know. So I had a lot of time, a whole lot of time. And so I'd start like watching old school videos. I'd watch, you know, highlights. I'd watch documentaries, interviews. listen to podcasts. It was just a whole thing, man, and I just really fell in love with the Lakers. Like, out of all of that, like, I know the Bulls have a fascinating story. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, I know the history that exists there, but the Lakers, the LA Lakers, bro, the purple and gold, like, it's just nothing that for that team, especially with Shaq and Kobe. And hey, man, rest in peace, man. I just feel so bad that I wasn't a basketball supporter when Kobe was in his prime. Like, I just feel like watching him, man, and just seeing the highlights, the 81-point game, the 62-point game, like the buzzer beaters, the threes, the defending, the mentality, man. Like, Kobe was just a freak of nature, man. Like, just watching his highlights, I just wish I got a chance to like see him perform. And it's really just so sad that I'll never see that, or the world will never see that again. But his legacy does live on forever, man. Like, forever Mamba mentality, bruh. And I feel like that's something that really spurred on this podcast. Just seeing his relentless nature. Like, he's somebody who I try to veer away from the word idolize, or revere, reverence, and all of these things. But he is somebody who I do place up there as a figure that I do want to model my life towards, because he really is a hero, man. So anyway, that's really what got me into the Lakers, man. Kobe Bryant, more than anything. Like, I know there's Jerry West and James Worthy and Shaq and Magic and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and they're fascinating. They're, man, you can write books and history books about them, but none does it like Kobe for me, man. Like, just none at all. So anyway, that's my like somewhat brief history with basketball, and that's how I got into it. So anyway, I've been watching like a lot of basketball lately. Really been enjoying this season. Like, I know this season's just been like intense with COVID regulations being what they are. We've seen like so many players being restricted. So many like hiccups in terms of like how the regular season would normally play out and how it's playing out this season. Like, even yesterday, how we had to play the Raptors, the Lakers, us being the Lakers, how we had to play the Raptors without Dennis Schroeder just because of COVID regulations. And obviously, I know the Lakers aren't the only team that have been hit by that. I'm just, reflecting on how severe its impact can be. And I know technically Dennis Schroeder shouldn't be the difference maker against the Raptors when you got LeBron and AD on the pitch, and Andre Drummond to a lesser extent, but it just was, I guess having Schroeder's energy and impetus would have just helped, because the Lakers, with this goal drought of theirs, man, like, this thing where they can play a minute or 2 minutes, 3 minutes or so without just scoring is what turns these 10, 11, 12-point leads into 13-point deficits, man. Like, look, I know Kyrie was having one of those nights, man, but for Siakam to do what he was doing to Anthony Davis, it just doesn't feel right, man. Like, I feel like the Lakers are really disjointed right now, and I feel like that's what I wanted to center tonight's episode around, like the Lakers, where they are, what LeBron was saying last night about the play-in spot. Anthony Davis, is he really back? I just wanted to have a Lakers central discussion tonight, man, because I don't know, man. Like, as a Lakers fan, it's hard to see what's going on. So, LeBron gets injured March 20th, right? And he's been on a 20 game, he's been like 20 games without playing, right? And you can obviously tell, like, a lower body injury, that coming back from that with the type of play that LeBron has, it's not going to be easy coming back to your absolute best, right? You obviously know it's not gonna be the same. And he said it, right? He said he's not sure if he'll ever be the same again. I think that's a bit of hyperbole from LeBron. I think, I do get his frustration, man. Like, imagine being in a position where your mentality is in the place where it needs to be, your mindset, your heart, everything is where it needs to be, but your body won't allow you to do what you need to do, man. And maybe I'm veering off topic a little bit, but like to a somewhat lesser degree, or even to the same degree rather, I think this is why it's so important to watch your eating habits, or just watch what you ingest, because this whole notion of taking care of your body, taking care of yourself is so important. You don't see it immediately, but you do see it in the long run, man. Taking care of your body is essential, because you can have all the smarts, you can have all the brilliance, you can be the smoothest talker and whatever, you can have all these dreams, visions, plans, etc. But if your body can't get you up, if your body can't get you to that meeting, if your body can't allow you to stand in front of 20,000 people and perform that concerto you've been working on for the past 6 months or so, if your body doesn't allow you to do it, you're just not going to do it. So you do need to take care of yourself, and none does it better than LeBron. And to see him still being reduced to what he is being reduced to, and I don't mean that with any disrespect, I just mean you can tell that LeBron wants to explode. LeBron wants to drop 30, he wants to orchestrate, he wants to dominate games, but he knows that he just can't, because if he does that, he's going to aggravate the injury. And I think that's the position he put himself in last night, because we saw him leaving the game, and it just didn't look good, because you could tell he aggravated the injury a bit. So, he might have to sit tonight's game out against the Denver Nuggets, which isn't something you wanted to see happen, man, because we could really use some of LeBron James against the Denver Nuggets right now, man. Like, with the Lakers being what they've been lately, actually, I feel like that's even unfair, man. Like, a lot of people would argue, and I've seen this like in a lot of social media debate rooms or debate sessions, whether it be Twitter or Instagram or whatever the case may be. A lot of people actually state prior to LeBron and AD coming back, the Lakers were actually doing quite decently. Like, I think the gentlemen, had gotten to a place where, like, they were used to kind of playing without LeBron and AD. Like, they kind of came to the realization that, look, LeBron ain't here, AD ain't here, we gonna have to flip and pick up the scrap. We're gonna have to play at our best. And I think that took time also, because I mean, at those first few games when the injuries happened, particularly LeBron's, right? I feel like with AD's injury, we could still cope because LeBron was doing his thing. And we obviously saw how LeBron struggled when Dennis Schroeder got injured as well. So that became a bit of a hassle. But, he still fought. Like, we could still win games. But then you take LeBron out of the equation too, without AD as well. I just think it became too hard for the Lakers to work with that. But you know what? They still fought, and they lost a lot of their games in the beginning. I think like in their first 5 games without LeBron, they went 4-5. I still need to check up on that, but this is just me recollecting off memory of that particular time in the season. I don't have like actual spreadsheets in front of me to recall this, and I think that's something I could definitely add to the podcast. But like I even mentioned initially, this is more like a journal for me, just to speak my mind, and hopefully to engage some of your thoughts and opinions around where the Lakers are in, etc. Right? So anyway, I'm just saying, like, the Lakers had adjusted to, or rather they were adjusting to playing without LeBron, and it was a bit rough in the beginning, but then they started getting better. And they got better, and they started to string some results together, some really impressive ones, like some really, really impressive results too. Kuzma was starting to do his thing. Schroeder had a couple of really good games. Drummond was starting to put up some good numbers. We know him with the rebounds, You had guys like KCP and THT picking up a lot of the slack, so I was really impressed. Kuzma could have definitely been more consistent, and I think he mentioned it last night as well. Like, he might have thrown a little bit of shade at Andre Drummond with the whole I feel like Marc Gasol should get more minutes comment. I feel like that was a bit of a dig at Andre Drummond, but let's keep it moving. But one thing he did say as well, in addition to that, was the fact that he's also been really inconsistent lately. Like, he's been dropping 24, then dropping 5. I mean, come on, man. How are you dropping 5, bro? Like, how are you playing professional minutes in an NBA game and only dropping 5 points, bro? And like, his scoring percentage, like, fluctuates really. It's like this dude is like the stock markets, bro. Like, he's like the forex markets, rather. Like, man just fluctuates, man. And I feel like the Lakers could definitely use a more consistent Kyle Kuzma. We could definitely use a more consistent Anthony Davis, because sheesh, if we're talking about a guy who can get low numbers attacking, that's that guy, man. I mean, how do you play over 30 minutes and only get 12? How do you play 30 minutes and only get 12? Like, I feel like AD was sidelined for a while with his injury, right? I feel like his mentality, he was keeping it right, but one wonders, man, how much can you keep your head in the game with such a long injury? Like, especially with COVID happening and whatever, right? How do you keep your head in the game with such a long injury, like with the length that he had, right? Because, I mean, for a while, when the injury happened, I don't think he could have even been on his feet for some time, like with those type of injuries, you can't generally be on your feet. So probably for a good, 2 weeks or so, he probably wasn't on his feet at all. That was just time with him, maybe like, just being at home and whatever, right? Before any form of treatment may have begun or whatever. So you can only imagine that, like, your mindset can take a knock, I guess. But obviously, like, he kept it fresh in terms of always being around the guys and traveling with the team and so forth. So I think, that did his morale good. But you do wonder, being sidelined for that long, does it affect players? And I'd probably like to hear the perspective of actual NBA players. I've never really played, man. So I'd actually love to hear, like, being sidelined with long injuries, does it affect your mindset more than you physically? Like, is it more in the mind more than it is a physical thing in terms of regaining your strength, regaining your movements and whatever, because obviously there is the physical element to it where, you still need to give your joints some time to adjust. But I just mean, even after that period of adjustments has taken place, because one would argue in Anthony Davis's case, yes, he's not 100%, but he's definitely in a place where, he can play regular minutes. He can play over 20 minutes a game. So one does ask the question that if he can do that and his body is allowing him to do that, what's stopping him from then being the Anthony Davis we know, who can then drop 20, 24, 25, 26 a game? I mean, man used to average like 25 at 25.2, so you do wonder what's holding him back from reaching there. Is it a mindset thing? Is the injury still lingering on in his brain, like, maybe I can't push myself too hard because of the injury? But then the flip side of that argument is, look at Kevin Durant. Man came off a 3-month hiatus, 4-month hiatus, and comes back, drops 30 as if nothing happened, like drops 33 as if nothing happened, last night against the Bucks, which I really wanted to talk about, but I did want to make this a Lakers central show, so maybe I might get into that a little bit. But more than anything, you just have to wonder about the Lakers, man. Like, we're not in the best position, man. We're not where we need to be. KD is coming back for the Nets, dropping 40 something on the Bucks. He just came back from a long injury. Why can't AD do it? Because certainly the Lakers do need some of that right now. And with tonight, LeBron probably not going to be able to play tonight's game. So we're going to need AD to step up, man. You can't play 30 minutes and only drop 12 points. We need AD to drop a 30 game tonight. That's what we need from AD to even remotely challenge this Denver Nuggets team, who've gone 9-10 since Jamal Murray's been injured. 9-10. Aaron Gordon is just dropping hoops for fun. You've got guys like, Jokic just doing what he does. Jokic has just been MVP level with it lately. The team just looks so solid. And you do wonder, man, you do have to wonder, what chance does the Lakers have, man? And you think about the next, 8 games after this game? Oh, actually, it's 8 games including this game, right? You do look at those 8 games, and yes, amongst those 8 games, we have teams like the Rockets. But then you also wonder, we've got teams like the Pelicans there that we have to play. We've got the Clippers. We've got Denver. We've got the Knicks. We've got Julius Randle and the Knicks. Julius Randle, who we just gave away. Julius Randle, who is playing MVP level basketball right now. We're going to have to play guys like him in this running. And I'm sitting here and thinking to myself, we can find ourselves in a position where we're barely hanging on into the play-in position. Never mind a play-off position. We might find ourselves in a battle or scrap for the play-in position. And I think that's why LeBron was reflecting so harshly upon this competition, or the way that this competition has been structured to include this play-in tournament. I think he's frustrated just realizing that the Lakers are in real trouble. The Lakers are in real trouble. It scares me. It hurts me to say it, but we're in real trouble. And the worst part is, the only thing that can get us out of this trouble is the guys that we have. We can't bring in anybody, there's nobody we can bring in to help us. This is what we got. This is what we got to make do with. This is it. You know what I mean? This is it. So we just need to get our guys, like Kuzma was saying, we need to not just be dropping 24 one game, 10 another, or 5 another. We need guys to step up. We need guys like KCP. We need guys like THT to step up and give us real contributions. We need AD definitely to play some MVP level basketball, because remember, the way I see it, I might be wrong, I stand to be corrected. When the Lakers put as much effort as it took to get AD into the team, you're thinking to yourself, AD is kind of meant to be the face of the future for the Lakers. When LeBron finally hangs up his sneakers, AD is meant to be the guy who steps out of his shadow and blazes his own new trail, right? If that's meant to be his thing, he needs to show us some of that right now. He needs to do that right now, because to play over 30 minutes and only drop 12 points, you just can't do that. You just can't do that. And then you're meant to be one of the best defensive players, but a guy like Siakam is just dropping hoops on you for fun. That's a problem. That is a problem. Big problem, So I just think the Lakers have a lot of soul searching to do. They have a lot of serious discussions that they need to have. Frank Vogel has been notorious for having defensively sound teams, and I mean that was the narrative for most of the season, right? I mean, we were ranked number 2, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of defense. So we've always known him to be that guy, but scoring, he's not really been called a specialist in attacking basketball. So that's probably reflected by the fact that his team just don't score. And as I was saying, that hiatus or that drought that they tend to have, where in a game they can properly go 3 minutes without scoring. 3 minutes is just too long in a basketball game. And I'm thinking, if you're playing against a team like the Nets, even a Nets that's not at their full complement, you have to try to outscore them. Never mind trying to outplay them with tactics and whatever. You still, your tactics can be flawless on the night, but then to round it all up, for you to get the W against the Nets, you'd have to have brilliant tactics, team chemistry, but you'd also need a whole lot of scoring, you know. And I just feel like that's where the Lakers could definitely stand to become better, you know, because we even saw like how the Nets overcame how the Bucks overcame the Nets last night. The Bucks were forcing the issue. The Bucks can defend. Giannis can defend, but he's initiating offensive plays. He's dunking. He's trying to shoot jump shots. He's doing what it takes. And the Lakers, rather, they need to get into that zone where they do whatever it takes to win. We need guys to start scoring more frequently. We need to build a brand of basketball where we manage our transitions well from defense to offense, you know. We just need to get to that place again. I think having LeBron back is definitely going to help. And I was watching the Skip and Shannon show, Skip Bayless and Shannon, right? And I was just listening to their banter and how Shannon was saying after this game against the Denver Nuggets, the Lakers could go 5-2, and I'm thinking 5-2 is a tall order, man. Like, with the games that we have set in front of us, man, 5-2, I'd take 5-2, you know. And he's hedging that on the fact that LeBron is going to take a rest tonight and then come back ready and willing to go. And hey man, Shannon, I hope you know something we don't, and LeBron is in fact planning to do exactly that. I hope that is the case, because the Lakers need it, man. The Lakers really need LeBron to come back and do his thing, man. But otherwise, man, that is it, man. That is it for the show tonight. As I say, it was a really Lakers-centric debate. I do definitely want to hear your thoughts. I do appreciate every single, and I mean every single play and stream that I've been getting on the podcast. You guys, I think if I was on 0 podcasts, I probably mentioned this last week, if I was on 0 plays or 0 streams or whatever, it would be very disheartening to shoot episodes. But the fact that the support is there and the streams are there and the plays are there, that gives me so much encouragement. So thank you. Really do appreciate it. And again, I do apologize for last weekend, or rather this past weekend, the Friday rather. Really do apologize one more time. But as I said, the audio is there. It's just a matter of just doing a few edits and whatever, getting it clean and pristine. And then we definitely upload as soon as that's done. So yeah, man, thank you so much. I'd love to hear your thoughts, comments, anything, man. I'd really love to interact with you guys more often, or rather at all. I'd love to interact with you guys and just hear what some of you guys think of the podcast, how I present myself, how I present the podcast. Is that something that you feel like we can keep this movement moving? Yeah, man, really interested to hear all of your thoughts. Once again, it is your boy GeenieYus Musiq. Thank you for tuning into the MSM podcast. Have a blessed rest of the week, and we'll see you soon. Peace.